Here we are in Penn Station. The governor has made an important announcement today is that she wants to make the next priority project in New York the rebuilding of the existing Penn Station. It was her strongly held view that we can't put this off anymore. And while it's great that we're building new tunnels to New Jersey and that we're going to get an expansion of Trans-Hudson capacity, she wants to build something for New Yorkers who are using Penn Station now. And that's why she's unveiled. You come first to this upper level of Penn Station that's not really used anymore. Amtrak has moved across 8th Avenue to Moynihan Train Hall. Amtrak has moved. They're no longer here. This area is simply being used only as a place that people stop on the way down to get on the subways and the Long Island Railroad and to go to New Jersey Transit trains, all of which are 2 levels down. The governor said what she wants to do is knock out this whole level, not all of it, but half of it, and to create an open environment just like Moynihan has, just like Grand Central has, where there's some real height, where you're not existing in this low ceiling catacomb. I'm going to take you through what existing Long Island Railroad customers have to go through just to get to a train. Follow me. You did. We're talking about a project that is doable in the near term, which you heard the governor said she doesn't want to wait till 2035. If somebody figures out a way to pick up and move it, that's great. But we got to get Penn Station fixed right now. That's a city issue. That's a city issue with the city land use permit. We're not in control of that, but we know is we're going to fix Penn Station right now. That's what the governor said today. So what you're coming into is where Long Island Railroad customers have to wait and figure out which train are they going to be assigned to, which track is it going to be on. So they stand here for until the last minute because the tracks are so crowded, because Penn Station had so few spaces for people to get onto the trains, and they wait here looking up at the boards like it's Mount Sinai, and they're waiting for the tablets to be handed down. And then they have to run to get on the train and the reason is because there's so little capacity in this station in terms of vertical circulation and platform space and so on. So we need to change that. Look at where we are. Just like the governor said, it's dark, it's crowded, there's no natural light, there's no sense of direction. Can anybody tell you which is east, west, north, south? It's impossible. So what the governor said she wants to do is get rid of all that above you. Get rid of that so you have a real height, a station with real height and grandeur and a sense of proportion similar to Grand Central Station. Look around at the experience that customers have. We're sitting here in the middle of the rush hour. This is 50% of normal Long Island Railroad ridership. Look how crowded it is. Look how unpleasant and uninviting it is for your average Long Island Railroad customer. It's not right. That's what the governor said she wants to change.
Anything else with kind of capacity with tracks? What will it mean for service, like getting more?
Well, ultimately, the New York has already committed to invest 25% of the cost of building new tunnels to New Jersey. But those new tracks will be used by New Jersey Transit and Amtrak. What we're saying is the New Yorkers who ride the railroad, who ride the subways, who are going to ride Metro North when it's brought into Penn Station, they're stuck in Penn Station. They're not going to get to go to a new expansion because they don't ride in those tunnels that go to New Jersey. So we need to fix Penn Station for the New Yorkers now. That's what this is about.
How is this different from what Governor Cuomo wanted?
What Governor Cuomo was talking about was, to a great extent, first of all, it was a much larger above-grade development plan. This governor, Hochul, has scaled that back significantly. She's put additional emphasis on the public space areas right around Penn Station. So there's 8 acres of new public space for the community. She's also engaged with the community in this intense community participation process to make sure that they're bought into it. She's also saying, instead of needing all the money soon from real estate development to finance the expansion of Penn, which is another project south of here, a brand new expansion that will serve New Jersey Transit. She wants to have a more realistic plan where we're going to use whatever money we can get out of the real estate, much less, to finance existing Penn Station, to pay for fixing Penn Station for New Yorkers right now. That's what that she announced today, and that's what we're going to pursue. All right, following. Really, in that sideways spot? Okay, let's go in there. Here. Okay.
Let's go in here, so it's,
So, those of you who saw the governor's presentation, there's that one shot about how big an open and hot with high ceilings and modern and a lot of circulation space and a lot of light the new Penn Station can be and will be. That's what she showed everybody. It was that image right there. Okay, we're standing. That is literally a shot taken from this perspective. That Hilton corridor, which is one of the worst parts of Penn Station, it's narrow, it's constrained, and it for many people it feels like a security threat to be even in the Hilton corridor, could be opened up. And how could you do that? You take away the ceiling, you move out all the residual structure, all the old structure, the beams that are left over, that have never been removed to give more space for circulation. And I'm going to show you on the Hilton corridor, this lower level of Penn Station has no room for passengers. Why? Because it's filled with back of house space, with offices, with mechanical rooms, things that are not used for passengers. The proposal the governor has made is, let's get all that out of there. We'll push it into the upper level of the station and make this this level just for the passengers, with an area, literally, it's hard to imagine as we're standing here now. This area, as constrained it is right now, could be as big as Moynihan's open area and the Grand Central Main Hall put together. That is what we're looking at. If we take out all the back of house space, all the mechanical rooms, all the offices that are stuck in this lower level, instead of it being for passengers. That's her idea.
Is there enough time to do this between when East Side Access finishes and before Penn Access opens and brings Metro North train to?
You know, there's no, you know, we estimate this project, and a lot of it, Clayton, depends on when do you get started. So the answer to the question is the Metro North project that you're talking about is a 4 to 5 year project. This project is a 4 to 5 year project. All the more reason it's urgent that we get started now. Okay, that's why the governor has introduced urgency into this. And in addition to the fact that Metro North is coming and that New Jersey Transit is projecting a doubling of their ridership, we have a rare opportunity when East Side Access opens and 40% of Long Island Railroad customers are suddenly going into Grand Central Terminal, and we have less pressure. We can do construction in that time period. That's why the governor is saying, let's start now.
Here we go, this way.
Okay.
Put your gate down, Mr. Todd.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hilton corridor. Instead of having a wide open space like that, you've got a narrow space with a ceiling that is in some cases under 7 feet in height, with, you know, finishes that are date from the teens or the 20s in some areas. And it's just not appropriate to the largest transportation facility in North America. It's wrong. It's unfair to New Yorkers. And what the governor said is, we need to blow all this out and take advantage of the fact that if we just get rid of the upper level, half of it, we can have a wide open area that, as I said, is the size of Grand Central Station's Great Hall and Moynihan Station Train Hall put together. If you just walk down the corridor, we'll see some of the rooms that are down here that are not available to passengers. Let's get rid of them.
That was a plan, thank you.
You go ahead. Where is this here to the right? This here? The right, all this space along here is back of house space for Amtrak, other railroads. It's instead of having, this should be the passenger level. This should be where the passengers are going. Look at that. Instead, yeah,
Do you know how the Hilton Passageway got its name? Is it
they
the
used to go to the
hotel?
Hilton Hotel. That ultimately, I don't know the exact configuration, but that's how it started. Okay, so let's go upstairs to the taxiway. But you guys get the idea. This is a route. This is a passageway that's limited. You see all these doors. It's limited to, you know, not to passengers, not used for passenger service. It's only for these back of house operations. Let's get rid of them. Let's open this up so passengers can move around. We're going to go upstairs.
Janno, you got that, hey, it's Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
You got that Monday deadline to try to work out an agreement with New Jersey
Yeah.
and Connecticut. Is there anything you can tell me about that? How's that going?
I would say that there are real conversations going on, but more than that, I can't say at this time. But the real conversations going on.
Okay. Do you think this will really kind of go down to the wire?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Okay.
Okay, where's the rotunda? We're gonna. Okay. So here we are. So here we are. Yeah, we are.
It's the last time we're on this sound is full.
Okay, so here we are on the upper level. The governor has proposed that we take out 40% of this level. Why? Look around. Do you see any entrances to the trains? None. There are a few entrances to trains down the east end. By the way, the east end is where Amtrak had its operations. Amtrak moved. By the way, the east end is not the east end, which is the 8th Avenue end of the station, is not where the vast majority of passengers are going, because most of our passengers, subway customers and commuter railroad customers, are coming from the center of Midtown at the 7th Avenue end of the station. So the proposal that you've seen here is let's blow out a lot of the floor here and create a double height environment, which will, for the first time since the original Penn Station was destroyed, give New Yorkers a first-class train station environment, just like is across the street from Moynihan. Remember, the state of New York built Moynihan Station, and it's largely functioning as an Amtrak station. New York made an investment so Amtrak could move out of here. The governor's point is it's time that Amtrak gave us the opportunity to turn Penn Station, where New Yorkers have to be, into something first class.
Do you have a picture for this one?
Well, this is literally, you know, what it's going to be down. You know, you're going to open up the whole level. So what I'm going to show you is that's the existing Penn. Excuse me for 1 second. So what you're going to see, what will be open here, is instead of having, you know, these two levels, which makes the ceilings on the lower level where everybody is like 7 feet or 8 feet in height, you could blow this whole area out. This is the taxiway. It hasn't been used since 9/11. It's right up there. And if you blow this whole area out, that's what you get. You get a skylit, huge multi-level space up to 100 feet or more in height that really will change how people experience the whole train hall. We can give you the image. So that, you know, this is the area that could be turned into what we call the mid-block train hall, going all the way from 31st Street to 33rd Street. This is that opportunity. Look at that. Okay, we'll go upstairs.
Can you show it this way? The camera
This
over
is
here
that.
can see?
This could be, instead of being a single, a 2-level station where you have one level on top, which is no longer used for most train service, and a lot of people stuck on the bottom, the Long Island Railroad customers and the subway customers operating in 6, 7, 8 foot height spaces. We could have 100-foot high space, skylit, the size of Grand Central Station's train hall and Moynihan train hall combined. It's a difference maker. That's what the governor's talking about.
A while ago, whether these construction costs were indeed higher than peer cities, but you said you'd have to look into it. Did you look into it, and what was the outcome of that?
Listen, New York City, we're being motioned, but it's a fair question. New York City's construction costs are higher. There are a lot of reasons for that. However, the work that I've done since I've been MTA, and we're operating in a pretty volatile construction cost environment because of the supply chain issues and otherwise. But the work that I've done has focused on how do we make sure that we deliver projects on time, because schedule is the dominant factor that is driving construction costs up. So we've been trying to get the MTA to be a stronger project management organization, so we maintain schedule. We don't have these huge overhead costs, which are a function of projects running along and having to operate them with staff and real estate and all the other overhead costs. We've made some headway. It's too early to declare victory, but I'm happy with the progress we've made.
Is New York like number one, and where does New York
He's
rank?
coming out here. He's coming out here.
Okay. You could just.
We talked today about-
Stand here. You can take the mask off. Now you got Penn Station.
Okay,
And
here
this
we.
is the West End, right?
Okay,
West End.
so here we are. That's 31st Street. That's 33rd Street. We are standing in the taxiway. This was built when they tore up the original Grand Penn Station. This was built to be the place that people would arrive in private cars and taxis to drop off. And you know what? It has been inactive since 9/11. For security reasons, it was taken out of service. So what you're looking at is a completely unused part of Penn Station. What we're proposing to do is to say, blow it all out, and you can create a huge multi-level space that looks like that. It could be 100 feet in height. It could be 150 feet in height. The sky is the limit, because there really is no constraint. There's nothing above this. So this is an idea that we've been working with. Here is the same area, but looked at from the ground floor level. And what you do is you just literally blow it all out, and all of a sudden you have the opportunity for to change the problem. One of the problems with Penn Station, one of the many problems, it's not just the lack of light, it's not just the lack of public circulation space, but the lack of entrances. What do we love about Grand Central Station? So many things, but one is you can go north, south, east, west. There are literally many, many different ways to get in and out. Penn Station, you're squeezed into a couple of choke points instead. What we do is, if we have a 33rd Street entrance and a 31st Street entrance and a better entrance on 7th Avenue and better entrances on 8th Avenue and entrances into all the buildings around, it'll be a little more like Grand Central, and it'll be a lot better for the customer to use it. Sure, this is an opportunity to completely change the experience. You take this unused taxiway, which has been out of service since 9/11, and blow it out and create a new entrance, both on 33rd Street and on 31st Street, with a skylight that is longer than the skylight at Moynihan Train Hall. It'll add to egress, it'll add to entrance space, it'll spread people out, and it'll create a totally different customer experience. Look at all that light, look at all that circulation space. Here's a chance to change what is a pretty crummy experience right now. Okay?
You want to talk about the trucks?
Oh yeah, that's an important point. So part of the advantage, thank you, Tim. Part of the advantage of blowing this out and turning this into a train hall is that we can, for the first time, adjust the way that the entrance works to the Madison Square Garden loading docks. I know it sounds like a minor point, but because they can't get modern sized trucks into their loading dock, the result is they do all their loading and unloading on 33rd Street, which is, for local folks and for commuters who are moving around the station, is a nightmare. So you have these big trucks, they're moving around all the time. What the governor's proposed is turn 33rd Street and 31st Street into shared streets, where you have limited, get the trucks off of 33rd Street. You have all of a sudden an area that prioritizes pedestrians and bicycles and outdoor activity and places for people to even, to have some cultural activity and so on, rather than prioritizing it for car travel and transportation. There'll still be some drop-off spaces, but it's a completely different idea of how do you use public space on the cross streets of New York and Midtown. 33rd Street is especially important because it goes all the way from Herald Square all the way to the river. It's a real big kind of spine of this entire neighborhood. The governor's proposing that we turn that into a different kind of public space that prioritizes pedestrians, bicyclists, and public use.
All right, anything else before we go?
What are the bounds of the shared streets on 31st and 33rd?
I think that's in the image that she threw up. I'm going to say it's It's from 6th to 10th Avenue, but it's in the images that she threw up, so we got to confirm that. Yeah.
On both blocks?
Yeah, both. I'm not certain, Dave. I'm not certain.
Janno, I'm sorry if I missed this, but did you mention how many more added tracks would be in all of this?
Well, the vision that has been talked about is for Gateway that they would add tracks to Penn Station, but we're still in the early stages of figuring out exactly how that would be configured. The tunnel is coming. The tunnel is funded. New York is funding 25% of the tunnel from between New York and New Jersey, but that'll be serving only Amtrak and New Jersey Transit passengers. So the point that the governor made today is we're supportive of that, and we're going to keep working on that with our partners, New Jersey Transit and Amtrak. But in the meantime, we got to fix Penn Station because that's where the New Yorkers are and where the New Yorkers are always going to be.
Any progress on negotiating with Amtrak over the repairs to their East River tunnels?
What we've got so far is like additional design that Amtrak has done. They've provided it to us. The design is pretty far along. It's no secret that we were hoping they could do it slightly different way, but right now our priority is on this project right here. Amtrak controls that project at the end of the day, so the governor has asked us to focus on fix existing Penn Station, #1 priority.
Southern border over there.
Yes. Hi, Liz Young from the New York Business Journal. I wanted to ask, how closely are you working with Vornado on this plan of the surrounding areas redevelopment? And then also, what makes you confident that so much of the space should be office use at a time when, we have a lot of questions about the future of work?
Sure. So, first of all, I'm the transportation guy, the MTA guy. So all of those discussions with Vornado have been taking place with the state's economic development entity, ESDC. So, but I think that the point is they're looking at a scaled down plan. So it's a smaller plan, less development, lower buildings than were contemplated before, and it includes residential and affordable housing. So it's a slightly different plan than it was before. Vornado does own some of these sites, and it's going to be required of them that they put in below grade pedestrian concourses, access to the station, and that if there are any additional development opportunities that they pay for them. So that's going to be worked out by other branches of government, but that's where that discussion stands. As for the question of whether there's a future for office building in New York, I spent 14 years rebuilding the World Trade Center. People said no one's going to come back to downtown. Those office buildings are a huge success. Putting office buildings next to major mass transit is a climate, is one way to defeat climate change, to make it easy for people to get to jobs and put mass transit and office jobs close together. But as I said, the governor's introduced residential space and new uses into the development plan.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, how does Metro North fit into this? Once Metro North.
They'll be
people are gonna
part.
coming in here.
Yeah, well,
Into Penn Station.
they'll be, but hopefully a new Penn Station.
Yes,
That's the
yeah,
idea.
yeah, okay.
They'll be using the same tracks because remember the way that the Metro North project is working is they're coming in on the Amtrak line, the Hellgate line. So starting in New Rochelle, they come in the line that Amtrak owns through the East Bronx, 4 stations in the Bronx. Then it comes through the same East River tunnels that Amtrak uses into the station. So they'll be on the same tracks and platforms as Long Island Railroad is on in this facility, hopefully a new facility by then.
Okay.
You good, Michelle?
Okay. All right.
Excellent.
Thank you.